Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome into the News 10 Plus Digital Desk. I'm Taylor Gattoni. We're getting started at 2:30 because President Joe Biden had a little announcement to make. So we have more of that on our streaming platforms, WILX.com. You can check that out. We'll have more coming up in our later newscast here on News 10 today as well. I do want to get started with Studio 10 because they are getting ready for their show right now, getting started in just under 16 minutes here. So make sure to go check them out coming up at 3 o'clock. Again, in about 15 minutes, you can check out Studio 10. Their social media pages are WILX Studio 10. Or if you are a business, you want to partner with them and advertise or sponsor with Studio 10, you can send them an email at studio10@wilx.com. But if you want to check out their social media pages, for example, their YouTube page, you can come over here. Like I mentioned, WILX Studio 10 is what you want to search in that top search bar. Scroll on down and you can see all the different videos and the playlist with Studio 10. So something that they had on yesterday in their show was talking about, I'll go back to playlist real quick, talking about yoga. They were speaking with a yoga instructor and how you can feel more zen. I'm sure the summer chaos, well, the summer activities can bring some chaos. So if you're looking for a way to unwind, de-stress, find your zen, improve your mind, body, soul connection, you can head to Studio 10 and find more information. Also, something that I want to share is part of our You're Not Alone mental health series on News 10 all year long. Studio 10 interviewed one of the Miss USA members. So there you go. April Simpkins gives advice for parents struggling with the loss of their child, like she lost her child. So if you want to learn more on that story, check out WILX Studio 10, their social media pages. Again, one more time, you can go check that out. But as part of our You're Not Alone mental health series, you can scan this QR code on your screen right now with your cell phone's camera. It'll pull up a list of resources. Once you click on the link, that'll bring you to our website, WILX.com, with those mental health care professional resources across our mid-Michigan counties like Shiawassee, Lenawee, Jackson, Ionia, Eaton, Ingham. Any of those counties, you can see a list of a few of those resources if you're looking to find that support and get connected. Just know they're great resources whether you're going through anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, stress, addiction like substance abuse, gambling, anything of the sort. Know that you're not alone and there are resources out there for you. We're going to take a little quick look outside right now. Weather is very busy because I'm sure you may have heard Justin Bradford and his wife Alex had their baby early Monday, there you go, yesterday. And we're going to take a look now at the peregrine falcon babies, which are getting even bigger. You can see the color coming through their wings, more of like they're losing their baby fur that you're seeing. And so super cute. You can see that they are in fact banded now. I'm circling that with the mouse. You can see both of its little legs are banded, and soon they will be taken off for liftoff, blast off, and flying without their parents. So that'll be pretty cool to watch. And actually coming up this Friday on Mid-Michigan Matters, we're interviewing the MSU Fisheries and Wildlife Club to tell you more about the peregrine falcons. But enough of the falcons. I do want to give you a live look outside in Mason. Just getting a look at what's going on outside. If you joined News 10 today at 11, you heard Darren Rockwell sharing that, you know, we're going to have hot and humid temperatures and weather conditions today. We had those hazy skies to start, but now you're seeing those clouds and some of that blue sky right above it too. But if you want more of your First Alert forecast, make sure to join into Studio 10 coming up at 3 o'clock, followed by First at 4, and Andy Provenzano is going to give you more of an in-depth look into your First Alert forecast. Or you can, or I should say, and head over to WILX.com, click on First Alert Weather, and you're going to see a detailed description from Darren on what is expected for today and through the rest of the week, really. To start the first week of June. So you're seeing all of this. You're seeing the almanac information, which is just the record highs and lows throughout the past years. The oldest one I'm seeing is a Lansing record low of 35 degrees on June 4th back in 1869. But today, as you're seeing, 83 degrees outside. It's going to feel hot and humid, sticky. So if you have your air conditioning units, if you haven't started it yet, you probably want to turn those on. You get your hourly, your 3-day, your 10-day, and your weekend forecast. And if you scroll further down, you can change that past to future. You can see if any rain chances, which, yep, there they are, making their way into Michigan. And you'll see that coming up in just a little bit. There they go. So Andy Provenzano will be sharing more of those showers coming in late tonight or tomorrow And they'll have more of that coming up in the first alert forecast during Studio 10 today. I do want to share what we have coming up during our 90 minutes of news, starting with First at 4 during Mid-Michigan Matters. So we're going to get that started right now. Coming up on Mid-Michigan Matters, what a great day to get outside, and for a new BMX pump track that opened in Lansing. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. It is opening at 3 o'clock today. It's not even officially opened yet. But Lansing Mayor Andy Shore and a few other Lansing officials will be in Geyer Park. And Aaron Bowling may have noticed this too. The last game that we played, actually 2 games ago, there was this BMX pump track being built. It was a lot of what am I trying to say? Dirt hills.
It looks cool. It looks cool. To give you a little bit of background, News 10 team, we're a part of a softball league, and we play, is it Geyer Park? Geyer Park over in Lansing, and there's that cool dirt bike track right next to the park. I've never seen anybody using a dirt bike on it. Well, I don't know. I guess they're finishing it up right now. I've seen some kids taking their tricycle over it while we've been there. I know, because it's, I guess, technically not even open yet. I didn't even know that it looked open the last time I saw it.
10 minutes.
Okay, well, opening in 10 minutes. Last I saw it was very cool. Lots of hills, curves. I guess not every day you get to see a dirt bike park out in Lansing.
No.
So pretty cool.
And the interesting part is I was looking more into what is a pump track. And so with all of the different hills, and Lansing Mayor Andy Shore will go more in depth with it, but with all of the hills, you don't have to pedal as much. You just get the momentum going.
Oh, so wait, I think I'm misunderstanding. Is it for dirt bikes or is it for normal bikes?
Well, you could do scooters, bikes. He's going to specify which bikes you can put on there.
We'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah, those electric ones, you want to be a little bit careful, or the motorized ones.
Yeah.
But yes, so make sure to tune in. It's very exciting. Like Aaron was saying, some people are already getting a little test ride on it.
Yeah.
But yes, we'll be sharing more coming up during Mid-Michigan Matters on First at 4 today. Coming up, News 10 at 5, we are working on a story about how a group is helping with veteran suicide prevention. And coming up, News 10 at 5, Deanna Giles will have more on how you can help as well. Coming up, News 10 at 5:30, families in Meridian Township will be able to enjoy some live music this summer, and we'll highlight the shows that you can see at the summer concert series. I know Aaron's excited.
Yeah, I went a couple times last summer, and I'll tell you what, that was super fun. Right on the lake, you can, there's some restaurants nearby that you can visit afterwards, get a drink, totally free, get to sit in the park. Nice, they play a lot of classics, a lot of covers, so songs you'll recognize for sure, even if you don't recognize the local band.
And bring like a little towel, a blanket, chair.
Yep, something to sit on, otherwise you might be sitting in the grass unless you pop a squat in the pavilion. But yeah, you're gonna need to bring some seating for yourself.
All right, well, make sure that you go do that. And then coming up, that sounds like a lot of fun. Coming up, News 10 at 6, we are following a story that we brought to you last week about a Make-A-Wish car being stolen. And we do have good news to report, and we'll share more in depth. That car was found. So Tanaya Jordan has more on that coming up, News 10 at 6 tonight. Let me show you what that looked like. It was a 1968 Ford Galaxy. You're seeing it on your car. It was stolen off the shoulder of I-496 last week. And so the man that it was stolen from, again, it was through the Make-A-Wish Foundation that really made this car special and unique for him. So it was important that it was found and returned, and we're going to share more of those details coming up News 10 at 6 today. And before we get to Aaron here, one last thing I want to mention is that this Friday is Pat Sajak's last episode of Wheel of Fortune. I know, look at that. Wow, he's been there, a staple of the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
But if you go back, David Andrews went behind the wheel back in 2002, and we have it in our From the Vault section on our streaming platforms, along with a few other retro videos that you can find. So make sure to go check that out. Maybe you're looking to pass the time, get a break from the heat and humidity outside today. Go check that out, From the Vault.
Yes, and actually kind of a fun thing that we just scheduled today. Pat Sajak's last day is going to be Friday, but on Thursday, I will be speaking with a couple local former Wheel of Fortune contestants about their experience on the show and what it was like being on the show with Pat as host. So I'm really excited for that story. I'll be speaking with 3 different former contestants who live locally here in the area. Well, there's one woman who used to live here. She's since then retired, is in Florida, enjoying the warm weather.
That's hot and humid down there right now too. Yeah.
Yes, definitely very hot and humid. But I'm really excited for that story. I believe it's going to be airing on Thursday, but definitely keep an eye out for that one, airing here before the end of the week.
Yes.
But today, On News 10 at 5:30, I'm actually talking about a new pilot program that the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services is starting. They just chose or approved a couple different care providers for addiction services to oversee this new program where they will be using incentives to get people to recover from their opioid and stimulant addictions. So it's kind of interesting. And it's only a pilot program. They're just kind of testing it out, seeing how it goes. But they do say it's an evidence-based program. I'm looking down. I've got my little facts in front of me right here. But they're going to be, to do this program, they're going to be using funds from the National Opioid Settlement Fund. For this program specifically, it's going to they're going to be using about $6 million. But what they're going to be doing is for people who are on Medicaid or the Healthy Michigan Plan, if they are diagnosed with stimulant use disorder or opioid use disorder or both, they will be eligible to enroll in this new pilot program. And essentially what will happen is they will be given things like gift cards for food, for gas, for each week that they are clean from the substance. And then every week that they are clean from the substance, those gift cards increase. And they're going to start this program beginning October 1st. They're going to be running it for 2 years. So getting off the ground here soon. They're just kind of announcing it today. So I'm speaking with one of those. It's the Mid-State Health Network. Okay. They've been designated as one of the organizations that will oversee this program. And so I'm going to be speaking with them to get a little bit more details about what it will look like and that sort of thing. I think it should be really interesting. News 10 at 5:30.
All right, News 10 at 5:30. We'll have more. Did they talk about what will be happening since October 1st or until then?
So actually, my first interview is not until 3:30. So I haven't got to ask them any questions yet. But keeping that in mind, kind of cool. If you guys have any questions you want me to ask them, feel free to drop them in the comment section there. I'll be sure to get those questions over to our experts today.
All right. Well, thank you, Erin, for sharing. News 10 at 5:30.
Yep, we are talking about the new pilot program for recovery incentives, talking about opioid addiction.
All right, so if you have any questions for Erin, again, her interview's at 3:30 today. She's going to get a lot more of that information. Make sure to comment any questions you have for her in the live chat. I'll pass those on. She'll ask the questions. Yep. We'll get that answered for you coming up, News 10 at 5:30. All right.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you, Erin, for joining us on the desk. I am going to show one more time what we have coming up during our 90 minutes of news, getting started with First at 4, of course. And so this is what we have coming up one more time. Just going to take a look at that. We are also going to get Riley Connell up on the desk right now to share what she has coming up during our 90 minutes of news.
Hello.
Riley, hello. Thank you for joining us. We
course.
will also see you on the field later today. Did you see the BMX pump track, actually?
I did. You know, I've
You
seen
did see it
it
out
in
there.
the process of it being put together because, you know, that's where WIL Extra Innings plays our games on Tuesday night, right? So we've passed it a bunch of times, and I've watched as people have kind of just started to realize that it's there. But it'll be great to see what it looks like when we pass by for tonight's game and kind of get a closer look at it. So
Yeah, wish us luck too, by the way. Yes.
please do, please do. It is hot and we are easy to tire, you know. So we need the energy and we need your, you know, your cheers from at
Hurrahs.
home, please.
For anyone else going outside today with the heat and humidity, please make sure you're hydrating, giving yourself breaks outside or
Very
from the
important.
outside and go inside or find some shade.
Oh yeah, we'll be drinking plenty of water out there. Looking out for each other if we gotta tag in from the bench or something like that. So
No more injuries from us. We can't have that happen either.
Yes, that's true. We suffered a few sore knees, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
So nothing major, but you know, we gotta keep ourselves in the field. So
We do.
no risking going out and our reporting suffering
That's
from
true.
our softball excursions. So
Oh man, we go hard. We want to
we
win.
do.
I mean, everyone wants to win.
That's true.
And there can only be one winner.
That's true, and that is very, very true.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
well, busy day today.
very busy day.
Very, very busy.
And for you too.
Yes, most definitely. We've got a big story coming up in our 90 minutes, News 10 at 6. There's a lot of context to this big story. It's kind of the debate over the $15 minimum wage. I'm sure people have been following that a little bit, maybe hearing, is $15 minimum wage going to happen? Is it not going to happen? So it all kind of goes back to this ballot initiative in 2018. That's where it all started. Michigan lawmakers at the time adopted an initiative to change the minimum wage, increase it up to $12 an hour, I think it was at the time. But that amendment was quickly changed right after it was adopted, right after they decided to take it on. So you might have heard it called the adopt and amend case, and that's why they're using that turn of phrase to reference this case. Lawmakers adopting and then changing that proposal. So years later, now it had come up to the Supreme Court for them to make a decision about that case and decide whether $15 minimum wage was going to be a voters' issue in 2024. So advocates for this, wage increase were saying, let's put it on the ballot in 2024. Let's let the voters decide whether they want to see $15 minimum wage or not. So that's kind of left us with this decision hanging on the state Supreme Court to say, are we going to put this on the ballot or not? Was adopt and amend unconstitutional or not? A lot of these questions kind of hanging in the air have come to an end this week with the Supreme Court saying that $15 minimum wage is not going on that 2024 ballot. So obviously a lot of mixed feelings for our different sides to this. Advocates for the higher minimum wage are naturally very disappointed that their ballot initiative is not going to actually be put out to voters. And then we have some people who are business owners in the area saying, I'm a little bit relieved, kind of wiping their brow saying, okay, I don't have to take on this expense that, would really put some pains on my business.
Yeah.
So you're going to hear both of those sides today. It's a bit of a complicated issue. We're going to try not to get too much into the weeds, focus on what's happened this week.
Either way, people are affected on both sides of that.
Absolutely, yeah. There are debates on either side, for some folks in support of it saying we can stimulate the economy this way, we can put more money in people's pockets, and therefore we'll have more customers at local businesses. There are businesses saying, if you put this cost on my shoulders, the cost of running my business is ultimately going to increase, and maybe I have to close my doors. So there are both sides of that issue. People are really passionate about this one too. Bit of a difference for folks in the restaurant industry versus people in retail when tips aren't quite involved. Because it really impacts servers in that way.
And I'm glad you mentioned that too. The different industry that you're in really could have that impact with the minimum wage increase.
Most definitely. As we've followed this in the past, we've talked to some restaurants where servers are saying, if I make $15 an hour, who's going to tip me? So that's kind of a third party side to that too, is this kind of specific group of people who make tips on top of, an hourly wage, having sort of a unique impact to them. There are some servers who say, I love it, bring on the $15 an hour, that would be great. I don't have to guess what my income is going to be night to night. So really a super split decision on this. We've covered this a few times, and I've talked to a lot of folks about it. You really see people kind of drifting to one side or the other. Some business owners saying, if it happens, and we'll deal with it when that issue comes up, when we're faced with having to change payroll in that way. So we're going to break it all down at 6 o'clock and talk about what comes next. The group behind this is not ready to stop anytime soon, pushing for that minimum wage increase. So you're going to hear from them and from a local restaurant owner about some of their take on this.
All right. Well, that is a lot of information.
Yeah,
that is.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
I'm glad you were able to get that out here because if you have any questions for Riley too, her story is News 10 at 6 today. Feel free to leave any questions in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have lingering questions about, this is something about this story I'm really wondering about, or could we explain this part a little bit deeper, a little bit more thoroughly, don't be afraid to reach out, because sometimes, I need to know the burning questions out there to really get the right information out to everybody. So,
All right.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Taylor.
Thank you, Riley. We'll see you coming up. News 10 at 6.
Yes.
We're going to pull up our 90 minutes of news one more time if you just need a little quick check-in with that to see what we have coming up. And then we're going to get Isley Herschel up here to close it out for us here on the News 10 Plus desk because Studio 10 is going on right now, and then we're going to get First at 4 going. So we are busy, busy, busy here in the newsroom today, but we're going to get you everything that you need to know. Before I send it to Isley, we're going to just take a quick live look into downtown Jackson, just so you can see more of those weather updates, what's going on across mid-Michigan. And this is a live look in downtown Jackson where you're getting less of those blue skies. You're still seeing them, but you have more of those thin, little wispy clouds covering the sky. So that is a live look over there. I'll take a live look in Delta Township, just so you're seeing some of the traffic and more of what's happening up in the sky toward that direction too. But we are going to send it to Isley, who is live with me right here, to share what she has coming up during our 90 minutes of news. Hello.
Hi, so today it's kind of sad. There
Oh.
was 31,000 Atlantic salmon that the
Yeah.
DNR unfortunately had to euthanize. And they didn't obviously just do this for no reason. The fish were pretty sick. They had a kidney disease.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
I know it doesn't sound great, and I feel really bad because that's a lot of fish.
That is
And
a lot of
you know, Atlantic salmon, I'm not sure if you know, they're like this big and
They're
bigger.
huge.
They are so big. These ones, this big. They were so tiny, but if they had released them, there could have been consequences with other fish
Yeah.
and the rivers themselves. But I'm gonna dive more into it tonight, News 10 at 6.
News 10 at 6. All right,
Yeah.
we'll hear more. And if you've heard anything going on with the Atlantic salmon being euthanized, it's somewhat similar, and I'm not going to say it's that similar, but what's going on with the avian flu or the bird flu, what they're really trying to do is limit that spread. And so that's what's happening with the Atlantic salmon, limiting that spread.
Yeah, they just didn't want to make any more fish sick and possibly cause fish that were already living there before to be sick, because there are some that live there anyways, but the DNR also tries to stock the rivers so that people can go fishing and the biodiversity, things like that. So yeah, they just wanted to make sure that the fish that were there are not getting this disease.
All right, well, that's good steps that they're taking, but also that's very sad. Again,
Yeah.
you said 31,000 fish.
It's a lot, yeah.
That is a lot, and the salmon too.
Yeah.
All right, News 10 at 6, Isley. We will see you then. Thank you for joining. And before we end here, I know that Chris Schultz is joining us from East Lansing. Hello, Chris. Hope you're having a great start to your day on this Tuesday. But this is a live look over Michigan State University. Again, you are seeing more of those clouds, but you are seeing some of the blue sky. Just know that it is going to be hot and humid today. Again, about 80 degrees. Even later, it was about 80 degrees when it was when you joined us for News 10 today at 11 this morning. It was already inching towards 80 degrees. So if we want to take a little bit look at what's to come the rest of the day, look at that. It's going to stay in the 80s until we hit 9 o'clock, and that's still high 70s. So no matter what you're doing later today with that heat and humidity, make sure to limit your time a little bit outside. Just give yourself breaks. Maybe not limit your time. Just give yourself breaks outside by going inside, finding some shade, getting some cool water, taking a break, getting your electrolytes, making sure that you're not passing out or anything else from the heat and humidity. So we want to make sure you're enjoying the outdoors, but that you're also staying safe. Studio 10 is on right now. First at 4 gets started in about 55 minutes, so just under 50 minutes here. Make sure to join us, and then followed by our 90 minutes of news, where Andy Provenzano will have more coming up in your first alert forecast. Have a great Tuesday, everyone.